She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the...
She is nearly impossible to officiate. That's how WNBA legend Rebecca Lobo summed up Caitlin Clark's situation. And honestly, it might be the understatement of the year. Every single game, Clark is swarmed, shoved, bumped, and clawed at in ways that make even veteran fans shake their heads. And yet somehow the referees seem to act as though none of it is happening. This isn't just about missed calls. It's about the survival of the league's single most valuable star. Because what Rebecca Lobo revealed about the whispers behind closed doors is more alarming than anything fans saw on the court. And it raises the question no one in WNBA leadership wants to answer. Is Caitlin Clark even safe out there? The fever pitch return. Let's rewind for a moment. Caitlin had been sidelined for 5 games. During her absence, the WNBA's momentum flatlined. Ratings dropped, social engagement slowed, and suddenly the hottest story in women's sports looked like it had been put on pause. Then came her return against the New York Liberty, and the entire sport jolted back to life. Clark exploded for 32 points, 7 three-pointers, and in a 38-7 stretch that people are already calling legendary.
Contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was in contact with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA.
She drilled 3 bombs from logo range. Fans were on their feet, social media blew up, and even seasoned broadcasters admitted they had never seen anything like it. In that single game, Clark reminded the world that she isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon. Here's what makes it even crazier. That broadcast pulled in nearly 3 million viewers at its peak. For comparison, the Stanley Cup Finals averaged less than that. Think about it. Caitlin Clark, in one regular season game, was outdrawing one of the oldest and most established men's sports leagues during its championship series. The numbers don't lie. She's the engine driving the entire WNBA. Rebecca Lobo speaks out, but here's where things turn from thrilling to terrifying. After that return, Rebecca Lobo didn't just celebrate the performance. She raised a red flag. On air, she bluntly said Caitlin is very difficult to officiate because of the sheer amount of contact she absorbs. That might sound diplomatic, but insiders know exactly what she meant. Refs are letting far too much slide, and when referees lose control of a game, someone always gets hurt. Lobo wasn't alone. She admitted she had been in contact with multiple WNBA coaches, who all agreed officiating has become the elephant in the room. Every coach knows the stakes. Every coach sees the same thing. And every coach fears what happens if the league's most marketable star goes down again. The disappearing whistle. And fans didn't have to wait long to see exactly what Lobo was talking about. In the very main stretch of games, Caitlin was tagged with cheap shots, hard body checks, and even what looked like an eye gouge.
The second-year player clearing out that side of the floor, shooting on Stewie, and then watch the reaction with one another. Stewie's
no whistle, no flagrant, nothing. Meanwhile, in that main matchup against the Liberty, the disparity was so blatant it became impossible to ignore. India barely got to the line while New York was showered with free throws. And when Natasha Cloud clearly fouled Clark on the final possession, everyone watching saw it, except the refs. Fever coach Stephanie White erupted in fury, and fans demanded accountability. What did the league do? Fine White for speaking out. The message couldn't have been clearer. The referees are untouchable, even if the product on the floor suffers. Why this matters? To the casual fan, bad calls might just look like part of the game. But when the same patterns keep showing up, the implications are much bigger. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie trying to earn respect. She's the one player single-handedly elevating the WNBA to new heights. Without her, ratings collapse, storylines fade, and casual fans tune out. Rebecca Lobo understood that when she spoke up. She didn't name names, but her message was unmistakable. If the WNBA doesn't figure this out fast, its golden goose might not survive the season. And that's only the beginning.
down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark. 2 players with incredible up. Clark, another long through.
Because the more you look at how this season has unfolded, the more you realize the officiating controversy isn't just about 1 or 2 missed calls. It's about a system that seems broken at its core. But here's the twist. Rebecca's comments weren't even the most shocking part of this saga. Because what coaches and players are saying behind the scenes is even more explosive. Coaches on the edge. The moment Stephanie White stormed into that post-game press conference, You could feel the weight of everything building. She didn't even have to say a word. Her body language told the story. Shoulders tight, deep breath. The look of a coach who had just seen her players battered with no protection from the officials. And when she finally spoke, it wasn't polite. It wasn't guarded. It was raw. White made it crystal clear that her team was not being treated the same way others were. To translate her message into plain English, if the refs won't protect my players, then we'll protect each other. That wasn't just frustration. That was a warning shot. Because here's the truth. When referees fail to keep order, teams create their own rules. And when those rules are built on retaliation, things get ugly fast. The players' boiling point. It's not only the coaches. Players across the league are grumbling too. Some say it openly. Others whisper it in hallways. But the sentiment is the same. The officiating hasn't kept up with the game. Today's WNBA is faster, more physical, and filled with more elite athletes than ever before.
But here we go with Caitlin Clark, singularly, being missing for the time she was gone, and ratings tanking, 50% in some cases. And then also she comes back and reminds everyone how spectacular she is. She's talking about the WNBA. So if you needed to sort of have it affirmed to you that it is just her, that the singularity of her is what we are talking about and her star power, you got it with this absence and then the way she came back.
The pace is blistering. The plays are sharper. But the referees? According to players, they're stuck in the past. Rebecca Lobo summed it up perfectly. Everybody's getting better except the officials. That statement hit like a thunderclap because it's brutally accurate. Athletes train year-round. Nutrition is dialed in. Speed and strength are off the charts. But the one group that hasn't evolved is the very people meant to control the game. And when players dared to bring it up during games, what happened? Some refs didn't just dismiss them. They laughed in their faces. Imagine that, you're warning that you're about to get hurt, and the person responsible for your safety chuckles back. It's a recipe for disaster. The Clark effect cuts both ways. Now this is where the story really twists. Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's crown jewel, face plastered across headlines, highlight reels, and sponsorship campaigns. But her superstardom also paints a giant target on her back. Other players know that if you shut her down, even by physical means, you steal the spotlight. And with referees looking the other way, that spotlight becomes an invitation to play rougher, harder, dirtier.
Tell me, what does Clark's return mean for the WNBA?
Well, I mean, it means a lot more people are paying attention once again. We know how much...
Think about it. In one game, Clark gets clawed across the face. In another, she's shoulder-checked mid-shot. In almost every matchup, she's swarmed by 2, sometimes 3 defenders hacking at her arms. And most of the time, whistles stay silent. It's not just unfair, it's dangerous. And Rebecca Lobo's warning about this open season dynamic wasn't abstract. She was pointing to a very real fear that if the league doesn't step in, Caitlin Clark won't just get bruised, she'll get seriously injured. The fans notice everything. And here's the kicker. Fans aren't blind. Clips of no calls spread like wildfire on social media, often racking up millions of views within hours. The eye gouge, the body check, the shove to the floor, each one becomes its own viral moment, fueling outrage and convincing casual viewers that the WNBA can't even protect its biggest star. Every time it happens, trust in the league erodes. Fans feel like they're watching a circus rather than a professional sport. And the more it happens, the harder it is for the WNBA to argue that it's serious about growth. What makes it even worse is the league's silence. Instead of acknowledging mistakes or promising to improve officiating, leadership keeps their heads down. No public apologies, no meaningful reforms, just fines for anyone who dares speak too loudly. That silence has consequences. It allows conspiracy theories to thrive. Fans whisper that maybe the league wants Clark to be roughed up, as if to humble her or prove she's not bigger than the game. Whether true or not, the perception is poison. A tipping point approaches.
Caitlin drives ratings. We know how much Caitlin drives attention on the WNBA, and for her to come back and do it in that way was just...
So where does that leave us? On one side, you have Rebecca Lobo and respected coaches pointing out the obvious. On the other, you have a league leadership unwilling to admit there's a problem. Stuck in the middle is Caitlin Clark, the single player holding the WNBA's popularity on her shoulders. And the cracks are widening. Fans are furious. Coaches are daring the league to punish them. Players are openly questioning whether referees take their safety seriously. It all leads to one unavoidable conclusion. If this trend continues, the next big WNBA headline won't be about record-breaking ratings or logo threes. It'll be about an injury that could have been prevented. But here's the wildest part. Rebecca Lobo's warnings weren't just about Caitlin. They revealed something even deeper about the WNBA's future, and how one referee problem could snowball into a full-blown crisis for the entire league. The league's blind spot. For years, the WNBA has chased growth, bigger TV deals, packed arenas, and mainstream recognition. With Caitlin Clark, they finally had the magic formula. Ratings skyrocketed, merchandise flew off shelves, and suddenly the WNBA was being discussed alongside men's leagues. But here's the paradox. The very player driving that growth is the one most exposed by poor officiating.
Sitting there at the end of the first quarter when she had that 38-second stretch where she drained deep three after deep three after deep three, I was just sitting there thinking, I've been around this league since 1997. I have never seen that in a WNBA game. Have we seen players go on runs? Of course we have, but not like that. Not where a couple of the three-pointers are from 30-plus feet. It was an exhibition by...
Every time a whistle stays silent, the league gambles with its own future. The evidence isn't hidden. It's broadcast live on national television and dissected on social media within minutes. Rebecca Lobo's decision to speak out wasn't just commentary. It was a plea. A Hall of Famer and Olympic gold medalist saying, "Wake up or you're gonna lose everything." The dangerous new normal. The most alarming part of Lobo's comments was what came next. Every coach she'd spoken to shared the same concern. Not one, not a handful, all of them. That unity tells you everything. If every coach in the league believes referees have lost control, then the entire system has already cracked. And when coaches start telling players, if the refs won't protect you, protect yourself, the game transforms into something else entirely. It stops being basketball. It starts looking more like a contact sport with no rules. That's when rivalries get personal. That's when grudges turn into elbows, claws, and collisions. And that's when the highlight reels shift from logo threes to players writhing on the floor. Why fans should care? For casual viewers, controversy might boost clicks for a moment. But long-term, nobody tunes in to watch a star dragged to the floor every game. People come for magic, the impossible shots, the thrilling comebacks, the rivalries built on skill, not cheap shots. The second Caitlin Clark, or any other star, suffers a major injury because officials let them play, the narrative flips. Instead of celebrating growth, the league will face questions like, how did you let this happen? Why didn't you protect your star? And why should fans trust you again? Once that trust is gone, it doesn't return easily. Ask any league that's endured a major scandal. A fork in the road. This is the crossroads the WNBA stands at right now. On one path, they acknowledge the officiating crisis, invest in training, demand accountability, and prove to players and fans that safety comes first. On the other path, they pretend everything is fine, silence critics with fines, and wait until disaster strikes. Rebecca Lobo has already chosen her side. By speaking out, she forced the conversation into the open. Coaches are echoing it. Players are hinting at it. Fans are screaming about it. The only group still silent? The league itself. The golden goose problem. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The WNBA's fortunes are tied to Caitlin Clark in a way we rarely see in professional sports. When she was sidelined, ratings dropped by nearly half. When she returned, ratings exploded to historic highs. That means her health and safety aren't just personal concerns, they're existential. If Caitlin goes down again because referees lost control, the WNBA won't just lose its brightest star. It risks losing the audience she brought with her. And the league can't afford that. Not now. Not when it's finally breaking into primetime. Final thoughts. Rebecca Lobo didn't use harsh language. She didn't accuse refs of bias or conspiracy. But her words carried more weight than 1,000 angry tweets. Everybody's getting better except the officials. That's not just analysis. It's a warning. A league can survive bad games, bad seasons, even bad press, but it can't survive ignoring its foundation. And right now the foundation, the integrity of officiating, is cracking under the weight of Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise. The question isn't whether fans are watching. We already know they are. The question is whether the WNBA will listen, act, and protect the very star who holds its future in her hands. Because if they don't, the next headline might not be about logo threes or record-breaking viewership. It might be about how the league fumbled its greatest opportunity by refusing to blow the whistle.